something that might sting a little. Looking beautiful will get his attention, but it won't keep him. What keeps him is the feeling he gets when he thinks about you. And here's the twist. It's not about being the funniest, the smartest, or even the most attractive. It's about one thing: how he feels in the silence when you're not there. Think about it. Have you ever wondered why some women stay on a man's mind long after the date is over? She's not necessarily the one with perfect looks. She's the one who made him feel alive, seen, and safe at the same time. That's the cocktail that keeps him coming back, replaying moments with her in his head, unable to let it go. But here's the truth: if you give him everything at once, if you're always available, always waiting, he won't crave you. Addiction is born in space, in the contrast of your presence and your absence. Your power lies in the small, unforgettable moments. The way you laugh at something silly, the way you hold eye contact when the world goes quiet, the way you show up with warmth but never lose yourself. That's what imprints on his memory. And if this is connecting with you, keep watching, because in just a moment, I'm going to share the one mindset shift that transforms attraction into obsession. And once you know it, you'll never see relationships the same way again. It's not because you're not smart. It's not even always because he's got another woman. No, the real reason is simple. You don't know the power of silence. See, men are not as complicated as we think. By nature, men are hunters. And when something comes too easy, when there's no challenge, no mystery, when he doesn't need to earn it, he loses interest faster than you can blink. But when you understand the rules of silence, oh girl, that's when the game shifts. That's when you'll find him blowing up your phone, scrolling through your Instagram like a detective, asking himself where you are, who you with, and why you haven't texted back yet. Tonight, I'm going to share 6 silence rules that will make the right man, the man worth your time, step up, stand tall, and never want to let you slip away. And let me be clear, this isn't about playing games or tricking anyone. This is about power. It's about knowing your worth, valuing your time, and truly understanding how men love. So buckle up, grab a pen, and listen carefully. By the time I'm done, you'll be the woman he can't forget, the woman he'll fight to keep. Rule 1. The power of mystery. Ladies, if you want a man hooked, if you want him sitting by his phone waiting for your text, you must master mystery. I know many of you think being completely open is the key. You believe that if you share your childhood story, your old heartbreaks, your favorite food, your family drama, all on the first date, he'll admire your honesty. But the truth? What he's really thinking is, wow, I just got the whole movie before the previews even ended. What's left for me to discover? Men are wired to chase. That's just built into us. When something is unknown, when there's a puzzle we can't solve, it drives us crazy. That's why we love sports. That's why we gamble. That's why we can play video games for hours on end. We love the challenge. So when you hand over your whole life story too soon, you kill the chase before it even starts. Mystery is not about lying, it's about pacing. It's about holding back just enough to keep him curious, to keep him putting in effort, to learn more about you. Think of the women who linger in a man's memory for years. They weren't the ones who spilled everything by the second date. They were the ones who gave just enough for him to wonder, just enough for him to stay awake at night, asking himself, what is it about her that I can't stop thinking about? Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, successful man, good looking, had plenty of options, met a woman at a charity event. She was stunning, but not just in looks. She had presence. She carried herself with confidence. And here's the kicker, she didn't even give him her number that night. She just smiled and said, maybe I'll see you around. That man chased her for 3 months straight. He rearranged his schedule, planned dinners, sent flowers, all just for another chance to be near her. You know why? Because she understood the power of mystery. She let him work for it, let him wonder about her. And to this day, they're still together. And why is that? Because she never stopped being interesting. She never stopped revealing herself, layer by layer. That's the secret. The mistake so many women make is thinking that if they don't tell him everything right away, he'll lose interest. But it's actually the opposite. If you give him everything too quickly, there's nothing left for him to earn. And here's the truth. Men respect and value what they work hard for. That's not my opinion. That's human nature. If something comes too easy, we take it for granted. Mystery sets the tone. It shows him you have standards. It shows him not just anyone gets access to your whole story. That alone creates respect. And respect, let me tell you, is the foundation of desire. When a man respects you, he listens. He pays attention. He adjusts his behavior. He puts in effort to win a spot in your life. Because he knows it's not automatically given. So stop over-explaining. Stop oversharing. Stop trying to prove yourself to him. The right man, the serious man, the one who sees your value, he will lean into the mystery. He will rise to the challenge. He will enjoy uncovering your layers one by one. And every time he earns a little more of you, the bond grows stronger. That is the real power of mystery. It's not a trick, it's a strategy. And if you use it right, you won't just get his attention, you'll keep his respect, his effort, and his loyalty. Rule 2. Silence is a test. Ladies, your silence is not being rude. It's not about playing hard to get. Silence is a test, and it reveals the truth quicker than anything else. If you learn how to use it, you'll see who a man really is before you waste your heart, your energy, or your years on the wrong one. Because here's the thing. Men show their true character when you stop giving everything, when you stop calling, when you stop chasing, when you put that phone down instead of texting first. That's when his actions tell you the truth. You ever notice how the wrong man disappears the moment you pull back? That's because he was only there for attention, for validation, for fun. But the right man, the one who's serious, when you go quiet, he steps up. He makes the call. He makes the plans. He puts in effort because he values you. Silence is not punishment. It's information. You don't need to argue to see where you stand. You don't need to chase him to find out if he cares. Just stop talking, sit back and watch. A man who's really interested won't get confused by your silence. He'll get motivated by it. He'll reach out. He'll stay consistent. Because men go after what they truly want. I tell my daughters this all the time. If you have to remind a man you exist, that's your answer right there. If he can go days, even weeks without calling, without checking in, without caring to see you, then you don't need to argue with him. You need to let him go. Because your silence already told you everything you needed to know. Let me give you an example. One of my nieces was dating a guy who seemed perfect on paper, smooth talker, always texting her, good morning, good night, long messages. At first it looked good, but then she decided to test him. She stopped initiating for a few days. Guess what happened? The messages got shorter, the effort disappeared. Within a week he had moved on to the next woman, and as much as it stung in the moment, she thanked me later because silence saved her months, maybe years, of wasted time. Silence gave her the truth up front. She started thinking maybe this man was finally the one. I told her, stop texting him first for a week, just step back and see what happens. You know what? Day 1, nothing. Day 2, still nothing. By day 5, complete silence. That man was gone. She called me crying, Uncle, what happened? Baby, what happened is simple. You gave him the quiet space to show his true colors. And he failed. But don't be discouraged, because I've seen the other side too. I've seen men who, the moment you stop putting in all the effort, suddenly move mountains to keep you close. That's the kind of man you want. Not the one you have to chase, not the one you have to beg, but the one who sees your silence and says, hold on. She's worth it. I need to step up. And let me remind you of something important. Silence isn't just about testing him. It's also about protecting you. Silence gives you space to watch, to observe, and to decide without getting blinded by sweet words or fake promises. A man can tell you anything, but his behavior in your silence will always show the truth. So when you feel the urge to explain yourself, when you want to fill every quiet moment with words, stop and remember this. A man who is truly for you will not run from your silence. He'll respect it, and he'll show you who he is through his actions. And the ones who disappear, baby, take that silence as a blessing. That was God's way of saving you from wasting more of your time on someone who never deserved you in the first place. Now let's talk about something that will change your whole approach. You must control the pace. Not him, not his charm, not his sweet talk that sounds like it belongs in some love song. You. Because when you set the pace, you set the energy of the relationship. And when you control the energy, you decide how this man shows up for you. Men are hunters by nature. That's not just an idea, that's biology. We love the chase, we enjoy pursuit, but when everything comes too quickly, when there's no effort required, our interest starts to fade. If you clear your schedule the second he calls, if you answer every text before the dots on the screen even stop bouncing, you're teaching him there's no urgency, no effort needed. And when a man doesn't have to chase, his excitement begins to die faster than a Snapchat story. Slowing down the pace is not playing games, it's setting healthy boundaries. It's making sure he earns his place in your life. Let him prove he's serious. Let him show consistency through his actions, not just through words. When you answer every "what you doing" text immediately, you're signaling that you're always waiting. But if you take your time, maybe not days, but long enough to let him wonder, that's when his effort grows. He'll try harder, he'll invest more, because now he feels he's holding something valuable. I'll give you a story. I had a friend, beautiful, smart, ambitious, but she had a habit. Every time she started dating someone, she went full speed from day one. First week, she was cooking for him, introducing him to family, posting couple photos online, planning trips like they were already married. And guess what? Every time, 2 months later, the man pulled back. He grew distant, bored, like she had become routine. I told her, baby, you need to slow down, let him earn it. Next time she listened. She didn't cancel plans at the last second just to see him. She didn't answer every call right away. She kept her rhythm steady. And you know what? That man chased her like she was the last golden ticket in the world. Why? Because she set the pace. And here's the real beauty of it. Controlling the pace doesn't just protect your heart. It gives you time to see who he really is. Is he steady, or is he only steady until he gets what he wants? Does he value your time, or is it always about his schedule? Silence and space will always reveal the truth quicker than questions. And let me be real. Men actually respect women who make them wait. Not in some manipulative way, but in a way that says, I know my value, and you're gonna have to prove you know it too. That's when he shows up as his best self. That's when he plans real dates instead of hitting you with a come through and chill text at 10 at night. That's when he shows you consistency, not just temporary chemistry. So don't be afraid to pump the brakes. If he's truly the right man, he's not going anywhere. In fact, slowing down only makes him lean in more, because when you set the pace, it's not just about guarding your heart. It's about building a foundation where his effort, not just your availability, moves the relationship forward. Now, let's talk about something most people overlook. Listening more than you talk. This is one of the strongest secrets you will ever hear, and it's so simple it might surprise you. Just listen more than you talk. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I'm a great communicator. I like to express myself, and that's perfectly fine. But communication is a two-way street, and a lot of people are driving the wrong way because they're doing all the talking, all the explaining, all the sharing, while the man in front of them is already revealing exactly who he is. The problem is you can't hear it because you won't stop talking long enough to notice. Men will reveal themselves if you let them. A man will tell you his goals, his intentions, his habits, his values, and sometimes even his red flags if you give him space to speak. But what usually happens is this. You meet someone, you're excited, and you start unloading everything, your childhood stories, your heartbreaks, your plans for the next 5 years, what you love, what you hate, what your toxic ex did, and in the middle of all that, you forget to stop and listen to what he's saying. Listening isn't only about hearing his words, it's about observing patterns. You can learn more about a man from the small, quiet moments than from asking him 100 questions. How does he treat the waiter? How does he talk about his family? How does he act when he's stressed? His behavior in those moments will tell you more than any answer he gives when you're quizzing him. A man will always reveal himself through his actions, but you have to be quiet long enough to notice. I'll share another story. My niece, sweet girl with a big heart, started dating a man who seemed great on paper. Every time she called me, she would go on and on about how polite he was, how he opened doors, how he always said the right things. I told her, baby, stop talking so much and just listen. Let him share. Let him show you who he really is. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, she called me crying. Turns out he didn't want kids, didn't believe in marriage, and had no interest in settling down. I told her, sweetheart, he didn't just say that yesterday. He's been saying it. You were just too busy talking to hear it. And that's the truth. When you talk less and listen more, you protect yourself. You stop building a fantasy in your mind and start seeing reality for what it is. This isn't just about dating either. It applies to relationships too. When you actually listen to a man, you learn how to love him better. You understand what makes him happy, what weighs on him, what drives him, and even what scares him. Men aren't nearly as complicated as people think. In fact, we're simple. If you listen, we'll tell you exactly who we are. We drop hints all the time, we just don't always spell them out. And here's the truth. When you listen more, you instantly become more valuable. You turn into that safe place, the woman who gets him without him having to shout it from the rooftops. And believe me, a man will protect and hold close a woman who really listens, because she makes him feel noticed and understood. In a world that rarely gives men that comfort. But don't mix listening with putting up with nonsense. Listening is about learning, not overlooking red flags. If he says he's not looking for anything serious, take him at his word. If he says he's too focused on his career for a relationship, believe him. Too many women hear what they want instead of what's being said. Your ears can save you from pain if you just use them wisely. So slow down, lean back and watch. Notice his words, his tone, his actions, his follow-through, because when you listen more than you talk, you give yourself the gift of truth, and truth is what saves you from wasting time on the wrong man while leaving room for the right one. Value creates value. Let me put it this way, simple but powerful. You set the standard for how a man treats you. I don't care what anyone else told you. You show people how to treat you through your standards and the energy you carry. And if you don't value yourself, if you walk around acting like you're on the discount rack, don't be shocked when someone tries to walk out the store with you for free. Men don't decide your worth, you do. A man treats you at the level you treat yourself. If you carry yourself like you're priceless, like you know you're the prize, like you deserve respect, effort, and commitment, then guess what? He'll either rise to meet that standard or step aside for someone who will. But if you drop your value, if you accept crumbs, if you keep making excuses for lazy behavior, you're telling him he doesn't need to show up for you. And trust me, men will always do what you let them. Value isn't about looks, money, or status. It's about the way you carry yourself. It's walking into a room without saying a word and people knowing you're not to be played with. It's holding your head high even when you're single, even when you're waiting, even when you're healing. That self-respect, that calm confidence, that inner strength, that's what makes a man stop in his tracks. Because men admire women who admire themselves. I knew a friend, gorgeous woman, but every time she got into a relationship, she gave away all her power. She'd rearrange her whole world for him, stop seeing her friends, ignore her dreams, reply to his texts within seconds, and then cry when he didn't appreciate her. I told her, girl, You're showing him your world revolves around him. Why would he work hard for something he already thinks he owns? The next time she met someone, she drew boundaries, kept her own schedule, made him earn her time, and guess what? That man showed up steady, serious, and ready to give her what she deserved, because when you create value, the right man will do anything to match it. Value doesn't mean being cold, rude, or playing games. It means knowing what you bring and refusing to lower yourself for anyone. It's about standards and backing them with action. Don't just say you want respect. Show it by the way you carry yourself and what you allow in your life. When you value yourself, silence becomes your strength. You don't argue with a man who can't see your worth. You just step away and let him realize what he lost. You don't beg for consistency. You make space for a man who's ready to give it. And you definitely don't chase anyone, because you know the right man will notice your value and step up without hesitation. Men admire women who know their worth. They might not say it out loud, but they'll respect it every single time. A woman who values herself pushes a man to rise higher, to meet her level. And if he won't, then he's not your man. So remember this: you're not just valuable, you're rare. And when you move through the world like you know that, you won't have to demand respect or love. It will naturally come to you, because value attracts value. And a woman who knows her worth will always draw someone who knows it too. Now let's talk about making him miss you. Ladies, here's the deal. If you want a man to stay hooked, to stay invested, to keep showing up, you need to master the art of letting him miss you. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying ghost him, play silly games, or disappear for weeks to punish him. No, baby. I mean creating healthy space. The kind of space that builds longing, respect, and real desire. Men are wired to appreciate what they don't have all the time. That's why when you're always there, always available, always answering on the first ring, a man will start to take it for granted. Not because he's cruel, but because that's how we're built. When you're too available, there's no room for him to miss you, to wonder about you, to look forward to the next time he sees you. But when you create the right amount of space, oh baby, that man will move mountains just to get your attention. Think about it. Why do people wait in line for hours for a limited edition sneaker? It's still a shoe, but rarity makes it special. And you, queen, are the limited edition. When you stop being everywhere, when you stop dropping everything the second he calls, you remind him your time is a privilege, not a guarantee. I remember a woman one of my friends was dating. Smart, calm, and elegant. She liked him, sure, but she had her own world. She had friends, hobbies, and goals. She wasn't glued to her phone or answering calls during meetings. And you know what happened? That man fell hard. He told me, "Man, I can't stop thinking about her. She's got me checking my phone like I'm in high school again." Why? Because she let him miss her. She gave him space to feel her absence, and that made him appreciate her presence even more. Creating space doesn't mean ignoring him or acting cold. It just means keeping your life full and balanced. Keep meeting your friends. Keep working on your goals. Keep doing things that make you happy. When a man sees that you're not sitting around waiting for him, he realizes he has to earn your time. That energy makes a man respect you and want you even more. And let me tell you something about men.